Missed it totally.
No worries.
I usually put replays on. I just don't know what happened here. Yep. Okay. So we'll come back again. I'm trying to hold on a minute. Where was I? Hold on a minute. I'm just trying to recollect my thoughts. Can somebody clarify where was I last?
Something about the sun.
Sun.
Sun and Aquarius. Something about Aquarius.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Sun enters Aquarius. Thank you. Thank you. So Sun enters Aquarius. When does that happen? Right? It is typically happens around February 14th, February 15th to March 14th, March 15th. Right? That's when Sun enters Aquarius. Okay. So February, that's the time period, right? The 12th, 13th, 14th onwards, it will enter. Okay, slowly, depending on, it's like 13, 14, you can say. What happens at the time in the Western world? Number one, you see that's the coldest time in the Western part of the world. What else do you see? You see sometimes darkness, pitch darkness, pitch darkness. Even sometimes in the morning and afternoon, you see darkness, right? What else do you see? Days are short, nights are longer, right? That is that thing. That is the whole thing of Aquarius. Okay. Now the natural, if you keep Rahu Ketu aside for a minute, Saturn is the natural karma owner. Okay. The natural karma owner is Saturn, and Saturn owns two houses in the zodiac, right? Which is Capricorn and Aquarius. So he's going to push the karma through both these houses in D1, but his Mula Trikona is Aquarius, right? Plus Rahu's energy is kind of also present in Aquarius, right? Not only because of its nakshatra of Satabhisha, but it's kind of that energy where you see of Rahu, the blue energy they call it, right? So Rahu is also associated with ultraviolet blue, yeah? So, so if you see, Saturn's will exercise its karma through both these houses, which is the 10th and the 11th house, the karma sthana, right? And one of the interesting thing is in as per Hinduism, right? The rebirth cycle happens because you finish karma. You have to finish your karma. Now, karma, to doctors in the room or to people who, understand basic things about human body and stuff. Like when you go and test your blood test, there is something called cholesterol. In cholesterol, you have something called a good cholesterol and a bad cholesterol. Same thing in karma, you have a good karma and bad karma, both. Yeah, but usually the good karma is very less for most of the people. Yeah, the bad karma is high. Yeah, and you have to understand the principle of rebirth. There are only like three reasons when somebody has been reborn. Okay, okay, you keep all the karmas and everything aside. Principal reason number one is to finish your karma. Okay, finish to burn your karma. Within that, it's good karma and bad karma. Okay, number one, right? Number two is even if you have burnt all your karma, okay, if you have a desire, okay, if you have a desire and you have not finished your desire and one dies, right, that person will be reborn again for that desire. I'm just giving an example. Suppose person X had a desire, I'm just giving an example, to go to let's say Germany in this life, could not travel to Germany at all, and that desire never ended until the time of the death, right? That person, X, Y, or Z, will be reborn again, right? And will try to visit Germany. Okay, that's the second thing, right? The third reason is when some bad events happen in the life, which is, you can call it as something like suicide or murder, or those kind of deaths happen when somebody dies, right? The rebirth will happen naturally again, okay, rather than a natural death. Okay, so these are the primary three reasons where somebody has to be reborn again with that. Okay, now one may ask a question, right? If you look at billionaires, right? For example, Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg or Steve Jobs, for example, right? They became billionaires, right? Why? So what's their karma? They also had karma, right? But they did a lot of good things, right, in their previous birth, that they have to enjoy that fruits in this birth. That is where they became popular, billionaires, money, everything. They did a lot of good things. So they had to enjoy and burn those good things before the loop can close, the karmic cycle can close. So that's the other interesting thing. Okay. I'm trying to think. Okay. So I think I've finished about Aquarius. I explained. Okay, Capricorn. We'll come to what is so just the same way Aquarius has a certain karma. It all starts from the karma, the owner is Saturn. That's where it starts. Okay. Now, what's the karma in Aquarius now? The first thing is if you understand, for example, it's also owned by Saturn, number one. Okay. Again, if you see Capricorn, like no planet is exalted in Aquarius, right? No planet, okay, or debilitated directly, but doing good, doing bad is all different. But exaltation, debilitation, no. But if you come to Capricorn, you have another great malefic after Saturn. If you keep Rahu Ketu aside, getting exalted, which is Mars, right? So you have Mars getting exalted. So that's one, right? Okay. Um, please keep your questions. I'm getting questions already. Yeah. So number one, Mars getting exalted. Okay. So another malefic. It's not a benefic getting exalted, but a malefic. Okay. Number two is, as I explained earlier, right? Capricorn is the only sign in the whole zodiac. Yeah. The only sign in the whole zodiac to lose a constellation, which is Abhijit. Look at that karma, right? Losing a constellation from your house. That's really a difficult karma if you look at it. Number two. Okay. Number three, if you look at it, right? Also, when Sun enters Capricorn, he changes the direction. The karma changes, they say. That's what we call it as Uttarayana, which is one way good because it changes direction. But Sun in Capricorn is in an enemic house, and Sun is also Shashtastaga to its own house, 6/8 to Leo in Capricorn versus Capricorn. Yeah, so that's kind of bad, but otherwise it's not a good placement. But again, Sun changes its direction, which is called Uttarayana, and start going northward. Yeah. Now the other interesting thing is, you know, all the planets, if you look at, right, when exalted, they go to a friendly house or at least a neutral house in the Navamsha, right? So Sun is exalted in Aries, right? In Navamsha, he goes to Gemini. It's a neutral house. Okay. I'll keep Moon aside for a minute. Mars, right? Again, if you look at it, Mars is exalted in Capricorn in D1, but in the Navamsha, he goes to Virgo, which is still a benefic Navamsha. Okay, it's not a malefic, it's a benefic Navamsha. Now, in the Navamsha, right, you don't read it as benefic or malefic. I mean, you don't read it as inimical or friendly, you read it as benefic and malefic. In Rashi, you read it as neutral, malefic, or neutral, inimical, friendly, exaltation, debilitation. But in the Navamsha, you don't do that. Okay? So understand that. Same thing, right? If you look at Jupiter goes to, in exaltation from Cancer, he goes to Leo, right? But it's still a lighthouse, right? Leo has got a very unique dignification because it's the brightest house. But in the Navamsha, it's kind of a mal malefic because Sun is mal malefic. Sun is not malefic. Yeah, it's a mal malefic, 50-50. Okay. Now, Saturn exalted in Libra at 20 degrees goes to Pisces in the Navamsha. Okay, benefic. Venus exalted in Pisces in the D1 chart also stays in the Navamsa in Pisces. Yeah, so that is again it's a benefic Navamsa and it's Vargotama. It's Vargotama here. Yeah, so if you look at all the planets, look at Moon, right? Moon exalted in Taurus goes to Capricorn Navamsha, right? Which is a malefic Navamsha. So the thing is that there is a lot of karma. So if you want to look at what is your pending karma one way, right? In this birth, take your D9 chart. Take anybody's, if you're reading somebody's chart, take a D9 chart. Go see what is in the D9 chart in Capricorn. In Capricorn. Okay, that is where you will see some way you are finishing your pending karma, and you will still have that. The problem is it will continue to next birth. So end of the day, your D9 chart, Capricorn in D9 chart, not in D1, D9 should be empty, Capricorn. Okay, if you have Sun in Capricorn in your D9, if you have Sun in Capricorn, that means you have some kind of pending karma with your father. Your relationship with your father in this birth itself will be very unique, mixed, and you'll always be catching up with your father. Okay, there is always something you will see that. If you have Moon in Capricorn in D9, it will be with your mother. Okay, if you have Mars in Capricorn in D9, it will be with your siblings. Okay. If it is with Mercury, right? If it's with Mercury, it could be with your business partner, for example, with your business, or it could be somebody with the family itself. Okay. So if you have Mercury in Capricorn, if you have Jupiter in Capricorn, that means it is with some kind of a guru or a teacher. Okay, if you have Venus, right? If you have Venus in Capricorn, it's typically with your spouse. Okay, marriage and spouse. If you have Saturn in Capricorn in D9, it will be typically with your servants. Yeah, servants and workers, or if you're having a factory or if you're having a home, either way. Yeah, so that's how it's going to be. Okay. All right. So we've touched so far to this. I feel very bad because it's not recorded. So I don't know what to do. Okay, I'm just going to continue. Yeah. And if there is nothing, good point. You don't want to have anything. Yeah. You don't want. The whole point is now. If there's nothing in your D9 in Capricorn or it's empty, it's very good. But that does not mean you're not having rebirth again, right? Because I said there are rebirth for three reasons. Okay, but it's empty. It's okay. Good point. Rahu Ketu, great. Okay, I thought I'll keep Rahu Ketu aside for a minute, but okay. So Rahu, if you're having Rahu in Capricorn in D9, I'll be you still have a lot of desires from this birth, which is kind of unfinished and will go to the next birth. Okay, okay, it'll take you to the next birth. If you have Ketu in Capricorn, okay,